Hey guys, welcome to a video on personal training. It's another video I'm doing in fading light, so I have to forgive the shadows and everything. But I had a client come to me today that had just come through from a series of personal trainers and didn't really get the difference between, I guess, just looking at things from a personal training perspective compared to looking at things from a holistic health practitioner perspective. Now, this isn't a marketing video. This isn't me trying to, try to persuade people to look at things the way I see them. I just want to enlighten people because the thing is as with anything in the world, there's a lot of misinformation given to people. So all I want to do, I know people think I put down PTs. I don't dislike PTs. I just like to be able to enlighten people and give them the right information so that they can decide whether or not having a personal trainer is the right thing for them and whether their personal trainer is right for them if they do want one. So just a couple of quick points, and then, this is reserving judgment, and it's just for you guys to obviously get some information to be able to make informed decisions, because a lot of the time in this world we get the wool pulled over our eyes by marketing, because everybody in this system, the way you think it works, is that people have to make money, and then, so people will do pretty much anything to make money, and quite often that means not delivering truth to people. So anyway, here we go. Personal training courses, everybody passes. I've never met anybody or known of anyone that's gone through a personal training course and who hasn't passed. They may not have passed the first time if they were severely bad at it, but everyone gets coaxed through and passes at the end. It takes roughly 2 months to get a personal training certificate. So that means you can go from being, say, a 40-year-old accountant, never played sport in your life since grade school, and then you can be a fully qualified personal trainer within a couple of months, and you're out on your own, charging what you want, doing what you want. It's an unregulated industry, so they're trying to regulate it with things, there's that body, Fitness Australia. I've never ever been registered with them because I don't buy into these governing bodies that are bureaucratic and don't actually do anything. So even the best schools, and there's a local school on the Gold Coast here that I rate as one of the better training providers. Look, even the best schools, especially on something like nutrition, they just got no idea. Like really, I brought up some very, very, I've just had discussions with people, and you bring up things that are very basic elements of nutrition, they just got no idea. And so, you could have a conversation about, how would a day's nutrition go for an athlete. It's like, well, breakfast is hypo-mega begalo powder 1, and then you want to follow that up with an isomo, it's just supplements this, supplements that. And I'll do, a video on supplements because most people, there's almost zero supplements that I can recommend to people, and certainly no sports supplements. That'll be another video. But nutrition isn't supplements. Most supplements are toxic. And so most people, especially personal trainers, I really don't recommend taking any nutritional advice from a personal trainer. It all comes from bodybuilding magazines and things like that, and that's just not the healthiest. It's just not healthy. I'll leave it there. So then you get some people that look the part and they've got the muscles and things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're a good coach. I always say, just an example for most people is, do you think that Usain Bolt's coach can outrun Usain Bolt? It's a different thing altogether. So of course, following an image can be it doesn't necessarily mean you're getting the best quality coaching. And look, I know some of what I say sounds arrogant. I know that. I'm not trying to sit here and say I'm the best at everything and I'm the best physical trainer or coach or anything like that. It's just that a lot of people get very attached to their coaches. So many people say, oh, my personal trainer, they're so good. My coach is amazing and everything. But it's just, in the same way I bring up in a lot of videos, people aren't being impartial, they're attached. They've got emotional attachments to all these things, so they're not making very good logical decisions. And this is why I always bring up, I can comment on a lot of things because I'm not attached to them. I can sit back and remain impartial and observe. It's the same reason why I can say that chiropractors, by and large, don't do anything. Because I can go to them, or I can go to a healer. I went to a really well-respected Native American healer, And I'm very, very in touch with a lot of these things, and they'll heal you this. And because I wasn't in there trying to let go, I'll have to cover this in another video, but I just, because I was able to allow whatever that person was doing to work, but I was being impartial, I wasn't buying into what they were doing, I just realised it didn't work. So the point is that remain impartial, or your results are going to be held back because you're going to attach yourself to emotional attachments to a certain person or a trainer or a coach, and if they're not giving you the right stuff, your results are going to get held back. Now, personal trainer, more than anything else, is a motivator. Again, I know how this sounds coming out of my mouth sometimes, but you've got to understand that, especially once you've been in the strength and conditioning world for quite a while, a lot of what personal trainers are giving you, they've just seen some clips on YouTube, they've read a magazine, and they're giving you some. And a lot of this stuff, as I cover in other videos, you can't rely on information from these sources. It's just not valuable for you. And unfortunately, even the resources that you get when you're becoming a personal trainer just aren't that great. Now, just to clarify that last point, a lot of people say, well, I read the Poliquin blogs and things like that, and I do too. As I've mentioned before in the video I did for Charles, which was to show him how you can make a healthy donut. He's amazing. The guy's great. I get a lot of my strength and conditioning resources, not all of it, but a lot of it comes from him. And but the thing is, people don't realise that you're not dealing 100% of the time, or even close to that. You're not dealing with people who are perfectly balanced people who you can just go and get the most scientifically valid training plan or program to get them to the next level, or even the exercises that you're using. Because I've worked with elite athletes that are severely imbalanced. They have to go through a lot of musculoskeletal therapy and base exercises, infant development exercises, in order to get them to the stage where they're doing power snatches and doing maximal effort 1RM exercises followed by sprints and things like that. Sure, they increase performance, but most people aren't ready for them, and you're just setting up a person for injury or negative results by trying to just give them the most extreme or whatever the science says is the best workout protocols at the time. Now, I'm just going to go through a couple of examples. I mean, on the Gold Coast here, personal training is huge. Every second person wants to become a personal trainer or even has a qualification. And you see them out on the beaches, along the beachfront and things every day, doing the hill sprints. And this is the other thing that I'll do in other videos. A lot of people, the training that they're doing is just non-productive. It's actually counterproductive, a lot of the training that people are doing. So very rarely will I ever, and I really don't, I don't like stepping on people's toes. It's not my place to step in and tell somebody what to do, so I just don't. But there was this one time on the stairs, because a lot of people there's 2 sets of stairs in Miami here, and on the set that goes down the grass hill, there was this girl who was a personal trainer, and she had this lady who was severely out of shape doing plyometric hops, jumps, doing plyometrics up the stairs. And that's a fantastic exercise if you're a super good athlete. If you're overweight, like I've touched on before, and I will be doing my videos on how to lose weight, it's the last thing you want to do. You don't want to be doing intense exercises. And this lady, from the feet to her spine, nothing was stable enough to handle this exercise, and I was just wincing it every time and the personal trainer's like, oh, come on, you can do it, you can do another one. I mean, literally, just to segue for 1 second, a lot of what your personal trainers can do, your mates can do. Why pay somebody? I mean, some trainers charge a lot more than I do per hour to just, yell at people, or just they're motivating. Okay, some people, I get that you need a motivator. Get a mate. You can read. You can watch YouTube clips and read magazines and know what they know, and just go, yeah, run, sprint, do another one, do 10 more push-ups, do 10 more squats, do 10 more sit-ups. It doesn't take a lot of skill to do that. So anyway, this girl was really pushing this lady to jump, and it wasn't anything against the trainer. For some reason, I just started moseying over the stairs. She's doing plyometric hops up, and I just slowly down the stairs, and I just got right in front of her, and I just sort of stopped. She looks up you're in my way, and I'm like, what are you doing? And then she's looking at me going, what do you, get out of the way? And I was like, what are you doing? You're not, do you understand how much you hurt? And I get that if you're out of shape, in some ways you hate yourself, and then you want to be punished, and you want to be pushed, and blah, blah, blah. But it's just, and obviously that didn't go down too well, because, But the point is, you know, just sometimes you just got to take a step back and just think, what are you doing? Another example of how the wool is pulled over people's eyes is that at one stage, I mean, once you get to a certain stage of, I guess, when you're a coach and things like that, you know, your clients and things aren't your peers. They're like, you know, you don't mix with them, sort of thing. So I was wanting to go through, you know, just work with somebody just casually, just, you know, as a peer, and just go through some boxing and things. Because, you know, I've done a lot of boxing, a lot of martial arts, cage fighting, things like that, and I coach people in it these days. But sometimes you just want to mix with somebody that you can just relax around and be a peer and just, you know, muck around, hit some pads, that sort of thing. So I actually rang around a few personal trainers, and I was like, you know, are you interested in doing some swaps? And people were like, yeah, let's do some swaps. And the same story kept coming up over and over. They go, oh, are you qualified? Because now there's some qualification that exists to be a boxing instructor. And, you know, I see people that are qualified as a boxing instructor, and they're, you know, they're down the beach doing it. And again, I'm trying not to put people down, but it's just like, you know, people's arms flailing around, can't even speak today, flailing around everywhere, and they've got pads held out here, and it's like, come on. So anyway, a couple of these people, it was more women that were interested in doing the swaps. Maybe a lot of men, I guess, their egos kind of get in the way sometimes. But so they're like, "Oh, are you qualified?" And I said, "Qualified? What do you mean qualified?" And they go, "You know, are you qualified to do the boxing?" And I said, so you know, I'm just sort of pulling the chain a bit. I'm like, "Oh, you mean the one-day course that you do to become a qualified boxing instructor?" They're like, "Yeah, are you qualified?" I said, "Well, I boxed for 4 years, and I was a black belt in this, that, and the other, and you know, I actually fought in a number of events. I've held pads for people that were Golden Gloves boxing champions, and you know, skirting around the issue of am I qualified, and then basically, so I give them all this resume of things that I've done. They're like, so you're not qualified, and it's just, you know, at that stage, it's like, yeah, that's enough talking to you. Go on to the next one. So it's just don't, again, qualification to me mean nothing in almost any industry. It's either you can do something or you can't. And so just when you're thinking of qualifications, and I just mean this from your own point of view, if you're in this situation, if you're looking to somebody and they're qualified and just thinking that means something, it just doesn't. From the same point of view, if you're somebody and you just think you've got a qualification and now for some reason you feel, good, now I'm there, I'm qualified, you know, and it means something, just realise that it doesn't. And that's just for your own peace of mind. We never want to just reach a level and just settle. You know, you always want to keep growing. If you've got qualifications and you're proud of it, good on you. You know, good for you. I'm happy for you. Just don't rest on your laurels, because generally they don't mean anything, and you'll realise that when you get to the next level and the next level again, that meant nothing. So just something to keep in mind. Now, personal trainers. The reason I'm not ragging on personal trainers, I have been one, I've got mates that are personal trainers now. I'm not ragging on personal trainers. The reason being, I have never come across a personal trainer who does not want the best for their client. I have never met one that doesn't want to help people and help them get their goals and help them. The problem is they're not given the right tools. They're told they're given the right tools, but they're just not. So the blame then goes to the, I guess, the personal training schools that aren't equipping personal trainers. In my opinion, considering the complexity of the human body and considering the complexity of the task that you're given to be able to firstly assess, and nobody does assessments, that's key. You cannot give somebody a proper training program without a very, very detailed assessment of everything about that person. And nobody does that. So from that point, to be able to get somebody from an assessment stage to getting them through correcting imbalances, making sure their lifestyle is supporting their training, understanding where they're coming from, where their goals are coming from, understanding how their issues come into play. It's a whole host of things that you've really got to understand, and then knowing what sort of exercise protocol to do, how to periodize, how to structure things, what exercises to do, and how to progress, rather than just getting somebody to, like, say, go straight into a deadlift, which is a basic exercise and everyone should do. Some people shouldn't be deadlifting straight away. They have to go through a series of preliminary exercises to make sure they can do that well. And people don't do that. So really, for the complexity of the job of a personal trainer, forget physio and doctors, you should be doing a 3 or 4 year full-time course to become a personal trainer, not a 2-month intensive personal training course where you can come out and charge. I mean, the minimum a personal trainer charges around here is around $50 an hour. Some are charging over $100 an hour. It's ridiculous. Like really, you know, fair enough if you've gone through 4 or 5 years of uni to do that, then you can charge that. But really, I mean, that's only my opinion. Don't listen to me if you don't want to on that. But it's just, that's just where I'm coming from in that school of thought. So the blame has to go to the PT schools. Now, they're not equipping people in the right way. But the other problem is they just have to make money too. So they need to market to people that come in, learn how to be the best in the industry. You'll come out, you'll make $100,000 a year. You can help people. You can do this. It's a growing industry. People always need personal trainers. People are getting fatter. They need, and it's just, there's some truth in all of that. But you know, by and large, they're picking tidbits of information, of statistics, and statistics can be used to prove anything. Same with scientific research. I mean, you're talking. I'll get into that in other videos, but a lot of the things that personal training and the fitness industry is based on is all on scientific research, and then just same way supplement companies, you know, come out with all their claims and things, and you know, that's so skewed. It's not funny. It's just, as I say, I'll touch on supplements. I know I keep saying this in videos. I'll do it on another video on that. I'll do another video on that, but that's the whole point with being a holistic health practitioner and things. Is just there's no one thing that's not tied to the rest. So I will obviously touch on those now. Personal training as well, it's basically a boutique industry. I mean, there was no, it just sort of started at one time where people just, you know, workout videos started to get, you know, a lot of airplay and things like that, and then people just started becoming personal trainers. There was no such thing as a qualification until relatively recently in history. And it's still unregulated, as I say. Now, so I guess, what does it come down to? I mean, you've got to try to ignore the marketing and things like that. I don't know if anyone's a fan of Bill Hicks, but Bill Hicks did a great bit, and I'm not going to try to do it because I just butcher things when I try to emulate someone's comedy routine, but he does this bit on people in marketing and advertising, and it's for the same reason I don't advertise. It really resonates with me. So what I'll do is I'll find the clip on YouTube and I'll post it in the description for you to have a look at. So what's the point of all this? If you're a PT and you just watch this and you're thinking, well, shit, what do I do now? Well, you just really got to be diligent. You've got to look in the right places. I periodically run courses on how to get PTs up to scratch, at least opening their minds on how they can actually get to perhaps a more proficient level as a personal trainer, and just knowing how to look for the types of things you're going to need to know what to look for in a client or a potential client, so that you are able to offer them the best possible service and give them the best possible outcomes and help them achieve their goals, help to educate them on perhaps why they've got goals that they don't even know why they have. A lot of people, this goes for everybody in all walks of life in any situation. A lot of what you want, you only think you want because the Matrix has told you that you want it. They're not real wants. So again, another video for that one. So the problem with doing your own research is that, for example, there's the health and fitness summits and things, these big seminars where they get expert speakers from all over the place to come along. And I can't believe people don't see the trends here, but what will happen is, a really generalized example is that you've got, let's say, speaker A, B, C, and D, right? And they're world-renowned experts. And then they'll come along and then say, speaker A, the first year they run the summit, is going, supersets are the best thing to do, you need to do supersets, blah, blah, blah. All the latest scientific research says do supersets for the increased gains in this. Speaker B, C, and D do something to say a little bit, counteract what that person's saying. Then the next year rolls around and people re-enroll and they're like, oh, it's the latest information. Now speaker A is now saying, actually, you don't want to do supersets because the latest information shows that doing supersets does this to type 2A fibers and this to type 2B fibers. And everyone's going, ooh, screw the notes. And you're just sitting there going, dude, they've just taking the same information and just switching it around. And every year people are turning up and paying $400 and going, oh, it's the latest research. And then that's what they're giving to their clients and so on and so forth. It's like, you know what I really respect? There's a magazine that I used to read called Muscle and Fitness. And the thing that I admired so much about that magazine was that they put the exact same exercises and things in every single monthly edition of the magazine, and people would just still keep buying it. It wasn't a bad magazine, actually, I have to say, but it's just every magazine had the same, even the same routines, and just the same benefits. This is how you do a deadlift, a bench press, a chin-up, and the same reasons you do it. But people just froth over it, and that's just, I really admired that. I thought, you know, that's a skill right there, is to be able to put the same thing out every single month and people still buy it. That's well done, good work. So anyway, like I say, I don't have anything against personal trainers. It's more this thing, this beast, this machine that has created what people think being a personal trainer should be. So I am always more than willing to help. If people actually have specific questions, I don't charge people for, if you're a PT and you got some questions and things, write in, I'll answer your questions, and it's just, I'll point you in the right direction. I'm not the world's greatest expert on everything. I'm not pretending to be the best. But I just, I'm speaking a lot from experience. I've been through the stage where I thought I knew a lot, and then, mind open to a lot of new things, and it's like, well, holy crap. So, and that, again, it wasn't my fault. It's because, I was so diligent with learning. I wanted to know everything. I wanted to be the best personal trainer I could be. I wanted to know everything about diet and training and recovery and this, that, and the other. But you're just not, the right information is very, very hard to access. I mentioned this a lot of times. Truth cannot be sold. Truth is very, very hard to find in a world where people need to create niches to market to make money. It's the same story over and over that I keep saying, but it's true. So just keep that in mind. And as I say, if somebody isn't in it for money, like me, and you're, as I say, I'm willing to offer people information for free because I'm not going to have any gain for it. I don't have any, it's not going to prop my ego up. I'm not going to make any financial gain from it. So, and again, I'm not saying just use me as a resource because of that alone. It's, use your own judgment, but just think, if somebody's trying to sell you a product or say, don't do, something came out recently where someone's saying squats are a bad exercise. You want to do all these auxiliary exercises and don't do squats. I'm like, what the hell, man? It's like, a squat is like the king of all exercises. It's used to increase performance in so many different areas. And then somebody just decides one day, I'm going to find out a way where I can make money of saying squats are bad and come up with this. And people buy it. It's like, really, come on, wake up. But anyway, I've rambled on enough today. It's getting dark. I want to go sit down outside and chill out end of the day. So I hope you got something out of that. And write in with any questions. There'll be follow-up videos on personal training and what to look out for and how to improve if you're a personal trainer. And so till then, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.